Shalom and welcome back to Gates of Salvation. This is your host, Jeffrey Adler. We're going to continue to look at the book of Joel. Let's get into the book of Joel. Joel was still in chapter 3. Again, it's chapter 4 in the Masoretic text. And the Lord says, "Behold, in those days and at that time," and the time that he's referring to is when he brings Israel back to himself. He pours out his Spirit on all flesh. And he says that I will gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And Jehoshaphat is that valley right outside Jerusalem. It's a valley, part of the valley of Jehoshaphat is the valley of the sons of Hinnom, which became the figure for hell, because it was a place where the trash was burned. And so from this valley, flames would often come up, and so as the trash was burning. And so, and now it's a very pleasant valley where people go to have a picnic. But I drove by it and I saw some people eating their food there, and it just kind of gave me a funny feeling because I was thinking these people are having their picnic in hell. But anyway, that is a part of the valley of Jehoshaphat. It is a chasm to the east of Jerusalem, and so it's between the Mount of Olives and the Temple Mount. I think that's interesting. You have these two high points: the point of the temple where the worship of the Lord went, and where it will someday be restored, and where the Messiah will rule, and the Mount of Olives on the other side, which is the place where Yeshua would often go to meet with his disciples and talk with his disciples. That is the place from which he ascended back to the Father after his resurrection, and that is the place where, according to Zechariah chapter 14, he will return. And so, to me, the valley of Jehoshaphat being the place where these armies are means they've fallen short. They've fallen short of worship. They've fallen short of Messiah, and that's basically what rejection of the faith of Israel is. It is falling short. If you ignore the Messiah of Israel, the God of Israel, the Scriptures of the God of Israel, you are going to fall short. And instead of being on the Temple Mount or the Mount of Ascent, you are going to be in the valley of Jehoshaphat. And of course, Jehoshaphat means the Lord has judged. And it says, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel. That the Lord, he says nishpatati. It is the nafal stem. It is in the perfect tense. So even though as a rule, if you just saw the perfect tense, it would translate the past as we described before, and as we described even as recently as our last time together, that Hebrew verb tense has less to do with the time of the action than the kind of the action. And so here it is the decisiveness. And the Lord says, I will be pleaded with for my people. I'm going to have some serious discussion with them. It's very strong. It's very strong. And he says, I'm going to bring them down to the valley of the judgment of the Lord. And he says Yehoshaphat, and with the same word, he says nishpatati. He uses the very same word. I will be in judgment. I will be in the judgment with them. There, concerning my people. I'm going to talk with them. I'm going to confront them about the way they've treated my people. Ami. He's going to bring the Goyim down, and he's going to talk to them about Ami. Am is the word that God uses in the Scriptures so often for Israel. And so there is a song, Am Yisrael Chai, the nation of Israel lives. And here he says, Ami. And so he says, these are my people. These are still sacred. They have a special name. They have a special word. And he says, Nachalati, Nachalati, V'nachalati, my inheritance, my heritage. He says, this is my estate. This is this is my posterity. This is my legacy. I have to pass on to my children. He said, and they've been messing with my legacy. I think that's so important. When you mess with Israel, you mess with the legacy of God. You mess with the legacy of God. When you mess with the people of God who've been grafted into Israel, you mess with the legacy of God. The people whom God redeemed by the blood of his own Son. He's really serious about that. So in Zechariah 2, he says, he who touches you sticks his finger in God's eye. Told Avram in Genesis 12, I will bless those. I will bless those who bless you. I will stoop down and put my hand on those who stoop down and help you like an adult responding to a child. And he says, and I will hold in low esteem those who hold you in low esteem. And so God is very serious. They're his legacy. They have messed with his people. Paul writes, has God cast away his people? God forbid. I'm also an Israeli. I'm also an Israeli of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. He said, God forbid. God forbid. God forbid. God forbid. And he said, I could wish myself, in chapter 9, I could wish myself accursed from Messiah, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. And he said, for my people and my heritage, Israel, my people and my heritage, Israel. There are so many people who would like to redefine what those words are. There are people who have taught that Israel has been replaced in the economy and in the mind of God. And so the Lord wants no doubt left who he means when he says, Ami, v'nachalati, my people and my legacy, my people and my heritage, Yisrael, Israel. And so people who have a relationship with God, Paul says, are grafted into Israel. If you don't like Jewish people, you're going to be pretty miserable in heaven, because the place is going to be crawling with everything that is Jewish. If you don't like Jewish people, you won't like God. If you don't like Jewish people, you won't like the Messiah. And if you don't like Jewish people, you won't like heaven. His legacy. His legacy. His legacy. The legacy of the Lord. Well, our time is gone. Till next time, shalom.